This week, on a Thanksgiving edition of Half Step Down, Jose describes his love for Cuban food. Cuban, like those, that I love it. Renee describes our show perfectly.
We can be as professional as we can, and we just drop it.
And the boys completely drop the ball.
Are we quiet for a reason?
No, I gave you the artist, and I thought you were going to say something. If you're not hungry now, don't worry, you will be. Half Step Down starts now.
Let's just jump right into it.
Let's do it.
Alrighty. Welcome everyone to Half Step Down, a special Thanksgiving episode of Half Step Down, where we create playlists and or soundtracks for any given situation or any theme. I am your host, Rene Grano. With me as always is Jose Martinez. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing fine, man. I like that we're getting straight to business on this one.
Jose, what are you most thankful for on Thanksgiving?
You know what, man? I always appreciate a day where your only goal is to just eat. That's nice. That's a nice thing.
That is, I feel like that's me every day, though. That's the problem. That is the problem. Jose, why don't you talk a little bit about what our Thanksgiving episode is about?
All right, guys. So Thanksgiving is, it's an American staple, right? You get the whole family together. Everyone's in one place.
They sell those things. They sell Thanksgiving at Staples.
Oh man, is that where we're going? Is that where we're starting this one off? We were right to business, and then now we're back in the gutter. That's all right. I like it.
I have such a gutter mouth. But
that was a good one.
Thank you. Did. Sorry, go ahead, Jose.
No, it's fine. You got everyone in the same house. Sometimes that can be tense. Sometimes that can be fun. It all depends. But we thought, you know what would we play throughout the day? Because Thanksgiving, it's a whole day, right? You got to get there. People are helping to cook. You're playing with aunts, uncles, cousins. Everyone's running around, and then sit down for dinner. So we thought, what kind of music would we be playing throughout the day? What would we be playing throughout dinner? Stuff like that. And I thought it would be a fun experiment that for each of the artists we picked today, what we think they would bring to Thanksgiving dinner.
Why don't we just jump right into it, Jose?
All right, so let's go. Let me pull up my list here because I actually make this. I should have had it ready to go when I said let's do this, and I did not have it ready to go.
It's okay. It's a free podcast, everyone.
It is. All right, so first one. Como Me Quieres by Khruangbin. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Are we quiet for a reason?
No, I gave you the artist, and I thought you were going to say something. So, Khruangbin, Como Me Quieres.
Okay, well, let's just talk about how we looked at each other.
I looked at you. For a second, you were so still that I'm like, oh, he froze. But then I noticed that your fan was moving. So anyway, let's try this again. I'm going to edit that out. I'm going to edit that out.
Let's try this one more time.
But
we were trying to be very... I think I've realized that we can be as professional as we can, and we just drop it a couple of notches every once in a while.
It can't be professional all the time. And you know what? Since we're here, hold on, I'm going to turn my fan on because it's hot in here. It's a little stuffy. Give me 1 second. Free podcast, everybody.
Jose is standing up. He's walking to his door where the light switch is, and he turns it on. And now this fan is moving. Sorry, I was giving people a play-by-play.
No, I hear you. Did you notice I hooked up the GoPro as my webcam?
Oh, I didn't realize.
Because at some point we had talked about maybe streaming the thing. Yeah. So I started thinking about it. So I'm like, we can figure this out. Anyway,
and you know what? GoPros are going to be on sale on Black Friday. I might have to invest in one.
You know what, dude? So quick aside, you don't have to get a brand new like this. I have the Hero 4. I just happen to have it.
Cool.
And you can get them for really cheap.
Nice.
And then all you need is a capture card, and capture cards are super cheap too.
Cool.
All right.
Awesome. All right. Let's start over.
So
let's go ahead and pick what was the first song?
First song was Como Me Quieres by the band Khruangbin. They are a little trio out of Texas, and I just became aware of them, and I've been a huge fan of them. They are pretty much, how would you describe their music other than chill?
Relaxing.
Yeah, it's
a synonym of chill is just relaxing, I guess. Yeah. They, when I first heard it, I really enjoyed it. That's definitely a song that you're either cooking the turkey or you're eating the turkey.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when you're cooking it, you don't want something insane, and then when you're eating, you want something soothing or chill enough where you're kind of ignoring it, but you're also like it's there. You know what I mean?
This is the kind of stuff you put it on and you just kind of vibe to it. Like it's nice in the background, but like you were describing, like you're cooking something. I've done dishes to this stuff. I've studied to this. A really fun one. It's chilling by the pool with a beer. It's just vibe music, man. I was just turned on to this band not too long ago. And yeah, man, I've been a huge fan ever since. It was like at the beginning of the quarantine. Someone recommended these guys to me, and I'm like, oh yeah, man.
Yeah, especially now since we're quarantined and stuff. I think it's that's definitely something you can kind of get your mind off, right?
Yeah.
Kind of use it to kind of just get your mind off things, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, so, man, you can just kind of
drift away. That's a very good pick. Very good pick. I enjoy that.
So, what do you think these guys are going to bring to dinner?
They're from Texas, right?
They're from Texas.
Some Tex-Mex food, man.
Some Tex-Mex food. Oh, no. You know what? Yeah, they're from Texas, but they're kind of like all over the place. I mean, they're kind of an international band. Like,
I don't know if you heard that, but I went,
yes.
Yeah.
I did hear
it. Okay, good.
It was good.
I would say they're going to bring some Tex-Mex, some barbecue, I think.
Ooh, barbecue. That's interesting.
Yeah, why not? You're going to spice up Thanksgiving a little bit with some barbecue. You know what I mean?
Ah, okay.
Beef.
I like.
I mean, if you're from Texas and you're not eating red meat, I'm sure they're going to like clean you. They're going to like kick you clear out the state. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Totally.
So that's what I'm thinking. What about you? What do you think? What do you think they'd bring?
I was gonna say they're gonna bring something like the mashed potatoes, but they're gonna spice it up with something interesting. Because for this particular song, like obviously this song and album, the title was in Spanish, but they take a lot of stuff from like the Middle East, India, like Spanish. They like mix it. I think on their next album they get a lot of stuff like Middle Eastern influence, like from Iran and stuff. So I figured they would bring like the mashed potatoes and they'd spice it up with something different to give that mashed potatoes that little kick.
A little spice, right?
A little something different.
To know that they brought it. Like, oh, I know who brought these.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. I like that. All right. Good pick, man. How about the next one?
Right. Our next song, Thanks for Staying by Reggie and the Full Effect. Let me see what I looked up.
It's not a Thanksgiving if it's not a pop punk Thanksgiving. That's all I gotta say.
You lay heavy on the pop punk, man. I appreciate it.
Sometimes there has, it's not. Come on, there's got to be. If Renee's picking some stuff, and I'm being the host, you're expecting some pop punk in my during Thanksgiving.
Absolutely,
right.
I looked up these guys, and this is funny. So this album is called Promotional Copy.
Yeah.
And it actually caused issues at record stores because they didn't know whether they could sell it.
Yeah.
And then their next album was called Under the Tray. And when you opened the album, the CD wasn't in the thing. It was literally under the tray, to the point to where the record label had to put instructions in the next shipment because people were like, dude, this is empty. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So Reggie and the Full Effect is like what I think was the influence to Brand New and like Taking Back Sunday and those kind of business. I know they kind of came around the same time, but I feel like Reggie and the Full Effect like was your introduction to that side of emo music almost, right? Or like pop punk and emo. I'm not a big Reggie and the Full Effect fan, but this song in particular just to me just like brings me back to a time where this song would be a song that I would have at a Friendsgiving from people that I
Mm,
grew up with. You know what I
I
mean? This
see.
is a Friendsgiving sort of song for me.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why the bangs, man? Why the bangs? I saw this guy. Why? What is it about emo and the bangs? Why is bangs a thing?
You know, uh, that was just a style, bro. It's kind of like spiky hair,
Yeah, I guess so.
right? It's just a style. I had a friend of mine. He's still a friend of mine. We had lost touch after high school, and we kind of, we caught up and we started hanging out and stuff. We found out he's a pro wrestling fan, so my friend Paul and I started, kind of hanging out with him again. And we had gone to like TGI Fridays or something, and he had his hair spiked, and we were probably in our mid-20s, right, late 20s. And I told him, "Hey, I remember when I used to spike my hair." He goes, "Really?" I go, "Yeah, in the 7th grade." And ever since then, he stopped spiking his hair. Now he has a new hairstyle.
Remind me to tell you, our buddy. Well, there's a guy I used to hang out with. His name was Brian, but there was a strip club story that I thought was the funniest thing ever. I'll tell that at the end of the. Can we make that the wind down?
Let's make that the wind.
That's going to be the wind down. It's one of my favorite stories.
I like it.
What do you think Reggie from Reggie and the Full Effect is bringing to Thanksgiving dinner?
Dude, that dude's bringing potato chips, dude. He's Reggie is gonna be the dude that he's like, damn it, I need to go put gas in my car before I get there. So he's the guy that has like $10 in his pocket, and he goes, I'll put $8 in gas, and these $2 I'll buy a bag of chips because I don't want to come empty-handed.
I like that. I said he would come with a bag full of $1 McDonald's burgers and another bag full of like 3 orders of fries.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
It's like here you go.
But you know what? You would. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he'd walk in with a Taco Bell box.
Hey, you know what? I would take that.
You cannot go wrong with the Taco Bell box, dude.
You can't. You know what? Oh no, yeah, you can't. But Go ahead.
Go ahead.
It's because of the delay, man. It's because of the delay. This is good.
Okay, I'm gonna go first. I'll tell my story. So
go ahead.
One day, so I went. Sorry, pre-podcast, everybody. I'm sorry. So I had one of my closest friends. He had he lives in Georgia, and he had come out here for a weekend, and he goes, "Hey, I'm having like a get together. Why don't you come over?" I said, "Sure." So a friend of mine, his name's Jesse, he picked me up. He says, "Hey, we should take something." So I absolutely don't want to go empty-handed. So we go to the market and we pick up like a 12-pack of beer or something. And there was a Taco Bell in the same shopping center. I said, "Dude, we should pick up like a 12 of Taco Bell tacos." And he says, "I think we should." I go, "Dude, have you not seen those commercials? Like those guys come in clutch when they bring those tacos." Mm-hmm. And he said, and so we were like contemplating it for 5 minutes. We're like, no, we don't want to feel like, that's stupid, bro. Like we don't know how many people are there, right? So we get there. There was already 2 boxes of that stuff, and then we're gone. And then we're gone. And I told him, "Dude, we should have brought some more tacos. Dude, we would have came in clutch with the tacos, man. We screwed up." Yeah. So it's always a good time.
No, one of the best things that a buddy of ours brought. We were having a barbecue.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you. He showed up late, but he showed up with 3 bags full of fries from the Hat. And the Hat, it's like a Southern California chain of like burger joints. They're known for the pastrami, but they have like those steak cut fries. And that came in clutch, man, because we were doing burgers and like hot dogs, classic barbecue food. So when he just showed up with these like 4 massive bags of fries, it was just like, "Oh, Rudy, you're our hero."
Delicious,
dude. Good times.
Yeah, expensive, but delicious. Yeah. Let's hop up to our next track.
So my next one was Chan Chan by the Buena Vista Social Club. For those of you who are not familiar with the Buena Vista Social Club, they're not really a band so much as they are a collection of basically Cuba's best musicians. If you can just imagine kind of like Afro-Cuban kind of jazz folk music, That's what I decided to pick. Again, another kind of relaxing, more chill kind of vibe. Although they can get a little more lively in some of their stuff. Especially, I mean, it's Cuban for sure. You get some danceable stuff, but this song is more chill.
You know what? This was pretty cool, dude. Like, it's funny because when I was listening to the songs, I thought, man, like the difference between going to Jose's Thanksgiving and my Thanksgiving is a little different.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, definitely a little different. Like you're definitely going to notice the first handful of songs that we talk about that are my pick are definitely the things that are getting you ready to hang. You're kind of just like hanging out, right? And you know you're at a Renee Thanksgiving when you're listening to this stuff. And then the last couple songs are just songs that the last song in particular is you're going to get a lot of this while you're having dinner. But this is pretty cool. I enjoy it. I didn't know that it was like Cuba's best musicians and stuff. That's pretty rad. I really enjoyed it. It was definitely something I can vibe to.
Yeah, that album, that first one is I mean, I've only listened to the first two, but they're really great albums. And a lot of these guys had been one of these guys, I don't remember who, but he was featured on the Gorillaz album. I think it was the last track on their debut. But yeah, man, they're a pretty famous like kind of collective. But yeah, man, I love these guys.
What would Cuba's best musicians bring to your Thanksgiving dinner?
Dude, plátano maduro.
Yeah.
I could eat that shit all day. I cannot get enough of those. Like Cuban, like those. That I love it.
Yeah. I was thinking there's a dish I've had at a couple Cuban restaurants. It's I think it's potato and then plantain, and then on top they put a shrimp, and then they put sauce all over. It's like this red sauce. Oh, dude, I'm talking about it making my mouth water. Yeah, those come in clutch. Those are delicious. They're definitely bringing appetizers.
Oh, man.
I think.
Yeah. Oh, okay. It's good times. Good times.
So my mouth is watering talking about Cuban food. My God,
I could go for like a Cubano sandwich right now. Oh man,
I love them. God damn. Yeah. You ever had the one at Porto's?
Oh, dude, yes.
Just delicious.
Delicious.
Yeah. Let's go to our next track.
All right. It would not be a Half Step Down episode if we did not talk about the Wonder Years. Hey, Thanks by the Wonder Years. Let's see here. What did I write about these guys?
What did you think about this song? Before you go on, a little more context. Before we started doing these playlists, the show used to be about albums, right? We talk about a specific album.
Yeah.
So your first take of the One Years was The Greatest Generation, right? Which is probably the best album. So from that, if you kind of remember what that was, what do you think from that to this?
This is more when you say what pop punk is, I picture this.
Okay.
Minus the ukulele. But I picture just more just this kind of like upbeat kind of pop punk. Whereas the Greatest Generation, that album, seemed to deal with heavier stuff. But that's like when I took this out, I'm like, oh, okay. When I first got your playlist, I'm like, oh yeah, these are very different. These are very different dinners we're having.
Yeah, very different dinners, right? Yeah. This is it's not a Renee Thanksgiving without the Wonder Year. So I figured I need to think of the nicest Wonder Year song, and I think this is definitely the nicest one. The nicest sounding one, I guess.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like a little easier on your earbuds.
I like it.
Something that would tickle your earbuds while you're waiting.
There it is. That was the one.
Yes, that was the one. What do you think how do you say 6 people in a band? It's
Septet? I have no idea. I don't know what the 6th one is.
Yeah. Okay. Well, So what do you think these 6 dudes would bring to a Thanksgiving dinner? From Philadelphia, by the way.
If it were these, okay, so if it were the Wonder Years from the first one you showed me, the Greatest Generation, it would be a roast, something heavy. But these guys, the guys that wrote this song, are bringing mac and cheese. They're just bringing a big old thing of mac and cheese.
Yeah, I like that. You can't go wrong with mac and cheese, man. I was thinking of some like sort of cold pasta.
Ooh, okay, like a cold pasta, like a pasta salad.
Yeah, dude. I think a little more context, guys. It's really late right now while we're recording this episode, and I have a feeling, Jose, that by the time we're done, we are definitely going to be eating something.
Oh, I always have a little snack after these. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it's going to be a little more than a snack.
It might be. Yeah, we're talking a lot about this. Oh,
yes. But I would think they're bringing. I think they're bringing the turkey, man.
You think the Wonder Years are bringing the turkey? See, I don't let.
I think they're bringing the turkey.
I think the host makes the turkey.
Yeah, but maybe they bring their own like version of it. Like they're bringing another turkey.
That's possible. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they're bringing a smaller turkey, but they're gonna make it Philly style. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. What is a Philly style turkey?
Cheese and steak.
There it is.
Cheese and steak.
Oh man,
yeah, cheese.
Cheese.
So okay, maybe they're not bringing turkey; they're bringing cheese steaks.
Cheese steaks. I like it. Yeah. All right, man. Let's go on to the next one. The next one for me was "Take 5" by the Dave Brubeck Quartet. This, if you have not, or I wanted to say you have heard this song. It's a jazz kind of standard at this point. Dave Brubeck was a jazz pianist.
Excuse me?
Jazz pianist. Jazz is still a mystery to me.
Yeah.
I love it. I try to play it. It's just very difficult. And I think it's because it's almost diametrically opposed to what you're taught in like rock music, right? Rock music, you want to be solid. It's like kind of straightforward. Whereas jazz, you have room to wiggle, and you kind of have to, and you have to come back, and it's just, oh man, like you have to have that swing. One day I will have it, but for right now I just don't. But I love it. I love how simple it sounds, and then when you go to analyze what it is, you're like, Jesus, that's so complicated.
It's so complex. I took a history of jazz class back in college, and I took history of rock and roll and history of jazz, and I did well in both. But even after doing that, it's still a mystery. Yeah, jazz music, and you're absolutely right, Jose. It is very, very simplistic sounding. It is a beautiful, soothing sort of music, depending on the type of jazz that you're listening to.
Yeah.
But my God, is it complex, man? It is. Even on the guitar, it's complex. It's very complex sort of music, but it's great.
Well, yeah, when you see someone like, oh, this is a jazz chord, and you're like, why is that a shape that you would make with your fingers? That doesn't make any sense, but whatever.
Yeah, I can't do that. Yeah.
And it's one of those things where, oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
We're gonna do this again. I was just gonna say that I've mastered the 3-5-7 stretch since I was like 17 years old, and that to me sometimes it's like, wow, I can't believe I can do this. And then you throw me like an A sustain 7, like A sustain minor 7 flat, and I'm like, I don't understand how I need 6 fingers for this chord, and that's a jazz chord.
Yeah. And that's the thing like about jazz. It's like it can be really soothing and soft. It can be like violently loud. It's just all over the place. I've heard it described. It's like the 2 great things that America will be remembered for when this experiment eventually goes down are going to be baseball and jazz. They're 2 uniquely American things because they both seem very simple, but they're extremely complicated.
I agree. Yeah. What do you think this quartet would bring to Thanksgiving?
Okay, if I were gonna if I were gonna think of what jazz guys would bring, um, heroin? No. No, they're gonna bring like a fine wine,
Yeah.
like something like a fine red wine, something like vintagey, something that's gonna go with the dark meat.
Maybe a dessert wine too. Two bottles of wine. There's 4 of them. You got to bring 2
Well,
bottles.
they're gonna bring several bottles of wine. Yeah.
Maybe dessert.
You think dessert
Right?
wine like a
Dessert,
like a
red
port?
wine to go with, a dessert wine to go with your. I'm sorry, a red wine to go with your dinner. But then they're also bringing dessert.
No, I like it. Okay, I can see
They're
that.
bringing some sort of I don't know, like bun cake or
Ooh.
some cheesecake, some pies. I think that's what they're bringing.
Okay.
There's 4 of them, bro. You know. Yeah.
All right. I can see that. I can see that too.
I was gonna say cheese, but I think this next artist would be bringing the cheese, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh man, look at that. So the next one we have is Down with the Sickness by Richard Cheese. For those of you who are not familiar with Richard Cheese, the dude takes popular songs, usually from like harder artists like punk rock and metal artists, and makes them lounge, kind of a loungy Sinatra type styles of music.
He's done Gin and Juice. He's done Chop Suey by System of a Down. He's done, I think he just did WAP. So I mean, there's no place he won't go. Just like Weird Al, you know what I mean? I think that they are the same type of artist, but obviously they have 2 different sounds.
Yeah, I see where they're definitely, I don't want to say a novelty act, but a comedy focused act. I will give you that the sequence in the Dawn of the Dead remake that featured this song is probably one of my favorite sequences in a movie.
Yeah. That's where I got Richard Cheese from. I think that's where he got his fame from.
I think it's where he really blew up. I remember hearing him for a while. I had a friend it was like a friend, like a coworker who was really into it. He's like, dude, check it out. He does this thing, and like, I liked it, but I like the joke wore thin after a while. And I'm like, all right, I get it. Like, yeah, he does lounge acts of all this stuff. It's good, but yeah, I mean that's one of those things. Like, he can do it forever.
Yeah,
you know, and it'll always be kind of funny.
I chose this song in particular because if you want to have some sort of super hard rock, for example, Disturbed song, which more than likely I would never do.
Right.
If you're in the middle of the Thanksgiving dinner, no one's going to realize that this is Done with the Sickness.
This is a sleeper, right? This is like an inside joke.
It's an inside joke that you and I would have while we're having dinner.
Yeah.
Kind of like the inside joke of we can't talk about that. That's kind of bad. But do you remember the shirt, the dude that was standing in front of us with the emblem on the back of his shirt stitched on his button down? Oh,
I remember that very well.
Yeah, it's just we can't talk. I mean, that the scenario and all that stuff. I mean, that's
we're gonna leave some mystery.
Yeah, we're gonna leave some mystery there. Yeah. Jose, what would Dick Cheese bring to Thanksgiving?
I was gonna say like beer, whiskey, maybe a cheese plate or some charcuterie, but probably just beer and whiskey, like a light beer.
Yeah. I'm just saying he's bringing. I'm saying he's just bringing cheese, man. There's some cheese trays.
Cheese trays, those are good, man. You gotta.
Those come in clutch. If you can bring a cheese tray and a 12 count of Taco Bell tacos, dude, come on, you got yourself a partay.
You do.
Yes. Yeah. Speaking of partays, how about the next one?
So the next one I have was Rebirth of Slick, Cool Like That by the Diggable Planets. Now, the Diggable Planets were a hip-hop act out of the 90s before hip-hop really got super gangstified, and it went in these kind of 2 ways. You had the gangster rap.
East Coast and West Coast rap, right?
Well, I was going to say, before even like that, you have hip-hop that you would play for your mom, and then you have like the gangster rap of like the East Coast West Coast feud. This is more like jazz inspired, kind of chill, like almost like poetry in a way. It's not so much, it's not NWA, right?
Yeah.
This is more like spoken word to a beat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love this song. But I just think it's like a
good. I enjoyed it. Yeah. It reminds me a lot of A Tribe Called Quest.
And that was what I was gonna bring. It's kind of like there are some hip hop acts that like I would show my mom, like Tribe, and like Diggable Planets and stuff like that. And then there's stuff where like I'm not gonna play, the Chronic for my mom. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, these guys they did not. I mean, I don't think they lasted for very long. They had like 2 albums, and then they came back like years and years later. But yeah, man, they were a great group.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. It's definitely something that if you're sitting down for Thanksgiving would definitely be, in my opinion, would definitely catch your attention. Yeah. Right? But it's not something that would make you feel awkward or uneven, I guess. Because I do feel that certain music should be played at certain times, specific things, right?
Yeah.
And I think that this is something that you can definitely groove to. You can definitely vibe while you're grubbing. You know what I mean?
And this is like the kind of hip hop where it's not necessarily about the hook, right? It's kind of like the beat is almost, it's like secondary to like the lyrics. Whereas I feel like now you got a lot of hip hop where it's the hook. It's all about the beat and the hook. This is just like about the flow of the what do you say, rappers? Like just going back and forth.
Yeah. Yeah.
It reminds me kind of like Wu-Tang Clan, like that first album. Whereas the beats kind of make it, but the thing I love about that album is you can kind of take the beats away and it's still strong. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's not all about the production. It's about these guys can rap.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good one. Yeah, that's I like that. I like that example. Absolutely. Yeah. But the real question on everybody's mind is, of
course,
what are they bringing to dinner? I'm
gonna go either a casserole or like some kind of a veggie side, like a roasted Brussels sprouts, something like that. But I was thinking, I think they'd go casserole.
I can see that. I was having trouble trying to figure out what they would bring to dinner, but I like that. I'm stealing that idea from you too. Yeah. I think a casserole would be a good one.
Can't go wrong.
One of my cousins brought us this was a while ago. Our cousin Hazel, she brought us like a breakfast casserole, and it had eggs and hash browns and I think it was like ham or something. It was very delicious. Oh, yeah. You know what? Casseroles done right come in clutch.
Oh man. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
So you throw them in the micro. You don't need to put any more side dishes because everything's already in the casserole.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Right. Let's hop over to our next song because I think this is the most appropriate song title.
Absolutely.
To our Thanksgiving list.
We have Green Day's Macy's Day Parade, man. Yeah, man. Green Day is one of those bands that I will always love, man. I owe just getting into music to Green Day, and this is appropriate, man. It doesn't go too far off the deep end. I think Warning was a more subdued album than most, if I remember.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, man, it kind of just showcases that, Billy Joe is a great songwriter.
I think Warning started to kind of go on the more political side. Like when you listen to like Minority and stuff, I think it was starting to go that way.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the first, I had looked up online, Thanksgiving dates, Thanksgiving song titles, just to kind of get into the headspace of what I wanted to pick.
Mm-hmm.
And this one's the first one that came out, and I was like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot about this. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, this is, you're absolutely right. It doesn't go off the deep end too far, but definitely something that I don't know if I'd want to eat dinner to this, but it definitely be in the background while you're kind of hanging out, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say while you're hanging out or like while you're cooking the dinner, like kind of
Yeah.
getting stuff ready. I have a Green Day, not a hilarious Green Day story, but I think it's funny. Um, so I used to know this guy in high school. I don't even remember his name anymore. He was this punk rocker dude, who idolized Green Day in a way I have never seen anyone idolize it. I've never seen a guy idolize a band almost like they were pop star. You know what I mean? Like, and I will not forget these two things. One, he wanted me to play drums with him because he was trying to start a band. And I'm like, all right, cool, man. And he goes, I recorded a demo. Would you like to hear it? I said, yes. So he gave me a tape. I play the tape, and it's literally, he had taken a microphone and recorded a separate boombox playing Green Day's first record, Kerplunk. And I was like, this is not a demo. This is like, you just held up like a boombox to another boombox. And the next day I came back to school and I'm like, dude, there's no songs on here other than an album that is clearly like he goes, oh yeah, man, I didn't have a demo. I just wanted you to play drums on this. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense, man. This is a like, what are you talking about? And I was just like, all right, man, whatever. And then that just kind of got awkward with him. And then that year, Green Day was playing the Warped Tour, just to give you an idea of how far back this was. And he went by himself because no one else went with him. We just ran into him there. And I'll never forget this because he waited by the stage where Green Day was going to play, like up front, like ready for Green Day to come on. And Warped Tour's in the summer. You got to stay hydrated because it's hot.
Too. Yep.
But homeboy didn't move. When Green Day came on, we came over to this, you can kind of go back and forth between the two stages as they set up. And we're like, hey, man, oh, I remember his name. His name is Alex. I say, hey, man, there's Alex up front. Green Day goes on, start playing. 2 songs in, he faints.
Oh.
And this was like the first time he was going to see him. This was like his band. I remember like we were pitting. I'm like, dude, Alex is gone. What happened? Then like the next, like when we got back to school or whatever, they, hey man, we saw you at what happened? I fainted, man. I missed the whole thing. I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry, dude. Like that was like, I felt so bad for that kid, but man, he was a weird kid.
There was a dude in high school. In high school, guitar players are near, they're dime a dozen in high school, right? And there was a buddy of mine. He was playing drums, and he says, "Hey, one of my closest friends plays guitar, and he wants to know if you want to jam with us." I said, "Okay." I guess we were looking to try to get another guitar player, to play lead and stuff. And I went up to him. I said, "Hey, what's going on?" I forgot the dude. I don't even remember the guy's name. And I went to this guy's house, and we went to the back, and he had the drum, and he had the drums. His buddy had the drum set up, and he started playing songs. So, all right, dude, he goes, we'll just jam. I said, okay, let's just jam. And usually when you jam, you're jamming, right? You're just kind of playing stuff and kind of just going along with things, right? Every song he played was a Green Day song.
There you go. He
was the biggest Green Day fan I've ever met. And I mean, Green Day will always have a special place in my heart, you know what I mean? Because that's what got me, them and Blink-182's Dude Ranch and Dookie are those two like pop punk albums that got me into punk and pop punk, right? And so, but that dude, nothing but Green Day, and maybe he'd sprinkle some Jimmy Eat World. Like those two bands were life to him.
Oh man!
And every time he walked by, everybody knew that Green Day was his favorite band. Like everybody it's like, oh yeah, that's that. Green Day's his favorite band. Like everybody knew that.
Absolutely.
So I thought, yeah. So I maybe at that time there was always that one Green Day fan in every high school.
I think you have to have it, man. Yeah, it's like a record. It's a requirement.
A requirement. Yes,
that's the word I was looking for.
What would Green Day bring to a Thanksgiving dinner?
Okay, if Green Day were going to come by, I'm going to say, oh man, what would they bring? I'm gonna, I have it here. They would bring a ham. A nice, like something good, something like a glazed ham, like hearty. they have a especially since this was, as you were saying, when they started getting a little more political. Something with some substance to it. So I'm gonna go with a ham.
I'm gonna go with pamphlets about global warming.
There you go.
I'm going to pamphlets about then out of just propaganda and a ham. With the ham, they're bringing a lot of information. That's for sure. A lot of information. Because right after Warning was American Idiot.
You know what? And that's, for a minute there, I felt like Green Day was just kind of going off the rails because they had like that stage show. Yeah. And they were just really all over the place. But yeah, man, I'll always have respect and love Green Day.
Yeah, I feel American Idiot is kind of where I fell off. I stopped listening to Green Day after American Idiot.
I know there was some controversy around it because the riff from American Idiot is basically the Dillinger 4's Double Whiskey Coke No Ice.
Yeah.
And I remember reading, and Double Whiskey Coke No Ice is one of my all-time favorite songs. That's like one of my favorite drinking songs. And there was like a rumor, and I don't remember. Again, this is all unsubstantiated, that like Green Day ended up paying off the guys from Dillinger 4, and then that guy then used that money to start his bar, the Triple Rock Social Club, which NoFX later wrote a song about. Interesting. Because if you listen to those riffs, they're identical.
Yeah, that's where they got super big, dude. That's when they were getting there. They're already big, but that's when the American Idiot is when they just.
I would argue that's where they kind of, because obviously in the 90s with Dookie they were massive, and then around the era of like new metal they were kind of like in a dip, and then when American Idiot came back they were just on top again.
That's when Warning came out around the new metal. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, and I remember that, dude. What was that? Was it that stage show where he went off the rails, right? Before American Idiot, when he went crazy, Billy Joel.
He was yelling at someone. Yeah, it was some like some festival show where like they were like, dude, you got like 2 minutes, and I think they had been like bumped 3 times or something. Like, yeah, I know he like went off. It's a famous YouTube.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, let's hop over to the next one.
All right, man. The next one, Cake, their cover of I Will Survive, man. There are very few bands that you can say sound like Cake. Cake sounds like Cake.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to describe it. They sound like what a dry, sarcastic person, if they were to form a band, they would sound like Cake.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I can say about them. I love this cover. I love that band. But yeah, man, this is just a great cover of a classic disco song done by Cake. With that voice, with those horns, with that tone. That's all it is.
And it was very well done, though.
Oh, yeah. I love this.
Yeah, very well done. This is definitely, when I heard this, this would be something that would start my family to want to listen to disco. This is where the dancing starts. This is where the partying starts after the dinner. You play this right after dinner, and my sisters are gonna be like, "Is this Donna Summer?" Like, no, it's a band called Cake doing the cover. They're like, "Oh, this isn't good." Like, play Donna Summer, and then there it is. It's over. And then now there's just wine coolers and dancing the rest of the night.
Waiting for
Yes, waiting for people, waiting for one of my sisters to say, "Hey, let's go shopping."
There you go.
That's where it goes. Yeah, that's where my Thanksgiving goes. Yeah, and I said wine cooler, so what?
No, it's cool, man. You whatever gets the party started. I'm not anti that.
Yeah, let's get this party started, right?
Yeah. You know what? They do some other pretty rad covers. You should hear their War Pigs. They have Black Sabbath. They do a Black Sabbath cover.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take a look. The only Cake I ever listened to was just on the radio. So like long short skirt, long jacket, right? That was kind of their hit, you know. Yeah, and this
Uh,
one too. But I really enjoyed it. You know what? Cake has always been one of those bands. I knew who they were. If I heard a Cake song, I'm like, this is Cake.
Yeah.
You just know who they are, right? Kind of like Weezer almost.
Yeah,
And you
yeah, I
kind
can
of
see
just,
that.
yeah.
Obviously,
Green Day.
yeah.
Going back to Green Day, you know exactly that this. When you hear a Green Day sounds like that's a Green Day song.
Yeah.
Like I honestly don't think that Green Day is one of those. I think Cake and Green Day are some of those bands that you just listen to. You're like, yeah, that's a Green Day song. You know.
Well, obviously, like The Distance is one of those songs that's like a classic.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the real question is, what is Cake bringing to dinner? I'm gonna go with
bro.
a dessert,
I'm going with cake.
right?
Yeah,
Just straight up cake.
Yeah. Come on. If you're inviting the entire band to dinner, I'm pretty sure they'd be sarcastic enough to say, "Yeah, we're bringing cake because we're Cake."
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, they gotta bring cake. Yeah.
All right, man. Let's get to the last one. What do you think?
This. Just go ahead, dude. Let's just talk about this.
All right, man.
Yeah.
So we got "When I Fall in Love" by Michael Bublé. Again, those who are not familiar, Michael Bublé sings those standard Sinatra style hits in that classic. What is that, like a baritone voice?
Mm-hmm.
He's just got that smooth as butter voice, and big symphonic, just kind of like big symphony. Him just singing about falling in love, man.
So here's the thing.
Oh, here it comes. Oh my God, there's a story.
There is no story. All I have to say is that I love Michael Bublé.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Hold on, guys.
Okay.
We can edit this out, but I just have to show you something.
Okay,
I should have been more.
Now I'm going to do the play-by-play. He's getting up, walking away. I'm looking at the room. I see, some Star Wars posters. He's got the trilogy. I like it. He's coming back. Silence on the podcast is what we have right now. I'm going to edit all this out. This is not necessary. But he's grabbing something. Coming back. He's getting down. Taking a seat. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen.
This is how much I love Michael Bublé.
You have him on vinyl, man. That's a big step.
And not just one record on vinyl.
Two.
That's all I got. I got two.
Oh, well, you know what? At this day and age, to own something on vinyl, that is a big deal. That is a big, big deal.
So Thanksgiving is the beginning of Christmas. The beginning of Christmas music, right? Michael Bublé is solidified with Christmas music. When you're ready to start listening to holiday music, you got to start popping that Michael Bublé Christmas record. So the reason I didn't pick Michael Bublé Christmas is because I'm saving that for Christmas.
I see. Because we are going to have a Christmas. I think we were actually talking. We're going to have 2 Christmas episodes. Little preview.
Yes. So everyone who's listening, get prepared for a Michael Bublé Christmas on Half Step Down.
Oh man, here it comes.
This is so that's when we start with the holiday music. I don't know about you, but I actually do enjoy it. There's a couple of holiday songs that I don't like, but mostly holiday. I just enjoy it, dude. It's just a good feel to start getting some Christmas music in there. But Michael Bublé, I have a lot of respect for that guy. I saw him last year at the Staples Center with a cousin of mine, and it was a great show. He's just very interactive with the audience. It's not necessarily a concert as it is like an event with Michael Bublé. Like you're just chilling, kind of like a friend, just like Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra used to do.
Yeah.
And so he really sticks to those guns.
Right.
So I do appreciate some Michael Bublé in my life.
No, I'm not judging, man. I love like that, those like kind of standards. I love that people are still continuing that style of music, because I think there's something about that era when it was like, I always used to make a joke about, it's hard to start a band, right? You got to get
Yeah.
like 4 or 5 people together. But if you were trying to start a band in the big band area, it's like, how hard was it to get 30 guys?
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? Like, how must that have been? Or maybe there's just less stuff to do, but it was always just kind of like, damn, man. Like, so anytime you have that, I appreciate it.
And you know what? And the band that he has is amazing. Like
Oh, yeah.
the band that he has live is just it's just a great show. It's a lot of fun. So I I bought last year I bought my buddy a vinyl for Christmas because he had told me he was gonna get me something. And I went to Barnes and Noble and I said, "Oh, look, there's a Michael Bublé Christmas record. Like, I'm gonna buy this for myself." And I said, "Wait a minute, there's 2 of them." So I said, "I'm gonna buy him a Michael Bublé Christmas record." And I wrapped it up and I gave it to him. And he opens it. He goes, "Why would you give me a Michael Bublé Christmas record?" And I'll, dude, because I love Michael Bublé. And he looks at me and he says, "No, you don't." I do. I do. His name's Jeff. I go, "Jeff, I do." And he goes, "That's impossible. We've never spoken about Michael Bublé." I said, "Because I don't know." I said, "We just don't." And my girlfriend was with me at the time, and he looks at her and goes, "Shayla, does she really like Michael Bublé?" She goes, "He loves that dude." And I said, "I'm telling you, man. Like, it's just, I respect the guy. He's quite a singer, man."
No, I agree.
I respect singers a lot. So, that song, especially the song that we're talking about right now is definitely one of those songs that just it's kind of like an end of the night sort of song.
There
right?
you go. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like a saying goodbye. See you guys later. Have a good night. We'll see you guys at Christmas sort of thing.
Totally.
Yeah. But the real question is, what does Michael Bublé bring to Thanksgiving?
Dude, that's easy. Champagne. Popping bottles.
Yeah.
Just champagne it up.
Yeah, he's bringing a aged Scotch, bro.
Yeah.
Scotch, because he's super aged. Bringing a $200 bottle of champagne. Just
drinks, man.
Drinks,
The
yeah. Just bringing
libations.
the expensive stuff, That's what I think.
I love it.
Yeah, dude, this was a lot of fun, dude.
This is a good one.
This is a lot. This is. I hope you guys, if you guys want to come to one of our Thanksgivings, not anytime soon because we're in a pandemic, but in a couple of years, you guys know exactly who your host of the Half Step Down podcast is and what songs are going to be playing at Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. Let's go to our weekly recommendations, Jose.
So for me, here's what I'm going to recommend. I know Thanksgiving is usually the football time. Right? It's usually when you're watching football. But if you're not a football fan, I'm going to recommend, I think you can find it online this year, the Mystery Science Theater 3000 Thanksgiving Day Marathon. And if Mystery Science Theater isn't your thing, then you just go ahead and switch over to that Twilight Zone Marathon. Those are my 2 traditions that I try to upkeep every year. It's getting harder and harder. My wife does not like Mystery Science Theater, but I love it. I try to sneak in a movie whenever I can.
Gosh, I haven't seen Mystery Science Theaters forever. I didn't even realize that they had. I know they had the Twilight Zone marathon they have on Thanksgiving and on New Year's.
Yeah,
on the Sci-Fi Channel. Yeah, my Thanksgiving recommendation is to watch I Love Lucy on Thanksgiving.
okay.
Or the day after Thanksgiving. I'm sorry. My recommendation is the day after Thanksgiving. For the longest time, they used to do I Love Lucy marathons the day after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
That's what they would, not on the day, but they would do it the day after. I remember that. I don't know if they do it anymore. That's not a tradition that I upheld for a long time because as I got older, I started doing other stuff. After that is when you start having like Friendsgivings, the day after or whatever.
Yeah.
But that was always something that I remember is when I was a kid, the morning after I would get up and whatever, I think it was on Fox is when they would have the I Love Lucy Thanksgiving. Yeah. And there is one tradition that I have upheld for the last 5, maybe 6 years. But you know what? We are going to talk. We're going to have a wind down. So I will give you my yearly tradition with one of my cousins after you tell your story.
Okay, so I think we had alluded to this. I was talking about this is a strip club story. I was not
as every Thanksgiving episode will
absolutely
end with from now on.
This was not. I was not there. I was there at the beginning of the night and for the aftermath. For a good period of time, I would have my buddies would come over to my house. We'd hang out, and then I am not the kind of guy that's just going to go to a strip club for no reason. That's just never been my thing. It's like you're paying money to go home frustrated. But I had a couple buddies who were like, it'd be a Wednesday, let's go. And usually how that would work out, and we were in college at the time, so we had like, Wednesday nights, it's like whatever you're going to do, right? So my buddy Mikey, this is a Mikey story. It was Mikey, our buddy Shanks, and then our friend Brian, who we used to hang out with back in the day. So the night started at my house. We're watching TV, just hanging out, and they're like, "Hey man, we're gonna go. Do you want to go?" I'm like, "Nah, man, I'm cool. I'm gonna stay, play video games. I don't have a ton of money right now." But my buddy Brian was there. Brian was like, "I've never been. Let's go. Let's do this." I'm like, "All right, man, have a good time." They leave. Hours go by. They come back. It's like 1 a.m, and I'm still up playing video games or whatever. Brian is furious. He's furious. And they end up having to take him home. Like, I don't know why he's so mad. But then they come back afterwards, Mikey and Shankar, and they're explaining to me. I'm like, "Dude, what happened?" He was pissed. He's like, "Dude, they were having a special on the lap dances. And Mike was getting his lap dances. But the dancer didn't say like, okay, this song is over. She just kept dancing. So at the end of like 6 songs, she's like, that'll be like, I don't know, $400. To which my buddy Mike's like, I don't have $400. So they like sequester these guys, like him and all his friends. They put him in like a little waiting room to like get their money. So they're like, the bouncer's there with the dancer and like, where are you gonna get us this money? We need the money like now. Like, you're stuck with the bouncer. So then Mike and Shankar go, I know what we'll do. We're gonna go to an ATM because they didn't have, for whatever reason, the ATM on site. Like, they just couldn't do it. We'll leave Brian as collateral while we go get money.
Yeah.
So then, so we'll leave Brian and Mikey will be here as collateral, and Shankar is going to go get the money. I remember this. Now, Mikey is like a strip club pro. He's been to more strip clubs than I think any man alive. And this is Brian's first time. And Brian already just kind of looked like a sickly dude. He was just not a very manly looking guy. For years, he wore women's sunglasses. I was like, I just thought like it was like a thing. Now I will admit, I think I look better in women's sunglasses than men's sunglasses. I kind of want to rock them, but I just haven't pulled the trigger yet. But
yeah,
he was in the little waiting room with the dancer and the bouncer, and the dancer was just tearing. Mikey was just laughing, telling the story. He's like, the girl was just like, look at you and your loser friends. Look at you. And she would like point at him and be like, with your stupid little beanie and your dumb little shoes and that stupid you look like a child. And I remember because he used to wear beanies everywhere, and I remember him even saying like, I think I look really good in a beanie, it looks cool. From that day forward, I have never seen him wear a beanie again. And it was just like every beanie he had, he threw away because this poor guy was just torn down. And I'm like, well, Mike, didn't she like make fun of you? He was like, yeah, I don't care. It's some stripper. Like, what am I like? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But like this, like I don't care. Like, of course she's mad I didn't pay her. He's like, I was mad because she was supposed to be like, all right, that's one song.
Yeah.
I'm like,
but he's like, no. She goes, I'm gonna see how much I can squeeze out of this.
Yeah,
dude.
and I was like, oh man. But to this day, I don't think that guy's ever worn a beanie again.
Is Brian the same dude that had like a jean jacket with like a Smashing Pumpkins patch on it, and like he had a couple of grunge, like couple band patches?
No, he was not a patch guy. He was
okay. I'm thinking of somebody else. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember who that other dude was. Yeah. Wow, that was a good one. Maybe I'll save mine for my story for Christmas, because that is more of a Christmas Christmas tradition. So I'm going to talk about that one as we go on. But Jose, I had a great time, my friend.
This was a good one.
This was a lot of fun. This is a good one. I don't know about you, but I'm hungry.
Oh yeah, I'm starving now.
I'm very hungry now. Yeah, I'm very hungry. I had pozole today for dinner because it was my nephew's birthday and that's what he wanted. And I felt good. I was like, I'm good. My other sister brought some donuts because he loves Krispy Kreme. So I had 2 donuts and I felt great. I was like, I feel good. I said, I don't need to eat anymore. And I'm like, now I'm just hungry. Now this day just made me hungry. But happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Be safe and eat all the turkey you can. And the leftovers are always the best part.
Before we go, I should probably do the plugs. Now it's late.
So here's the thing, guys.
Now it's late.
We have done this twice today. I'm breaking the fourth wall. We like to do a couple episodes back to back every once in a while, right? To kind of stay ahead. And I'd like to think that I'm pretty good at remembering the things I have to do. And if you guys listened to the episode before this, I forgot about the plugs. Mm-hmm. And this one, I was ready. I was like, I don't care what time it is. I'm going to kick this one's ass. We are ready. We jumped right into it. I didn't forget anything. And here I go again.
It happens.
And I forgot the plugs again. Let's start over. Guys, that was a great wind down story, Jose. But you know what? We got to talk about some plugs. Where can people find us?
All right, guys, you can always find everything about us at halfstepdownpod.com. That's where you're going to find all the information, latest episodes. We got all our links to our social media on there. If you are on social media, Instagram or Twitter, we are at halfstepdownpod. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/halfstepdownpod. Look up Half Step Down Pod in YouTube. All our episodes are uploaded to our YouTube channel. They're all there. Make sure you check out the Spotify playlists. The links are in the description. Check out Half Step Down Radio on titanradio.org every Thursday night at 7. And then, of course, if you like what you hear, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. And make sure you spread the word using hashtag HalfStepDownPod.
I like that, Jose. You were on it today.
I'm trying.
You are on it. It is late and he is on it and he's hungry and I am hungry. And I hope everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving. If you guys want to leave us some food, you can always send it over to the Half Step Down headquarters.
Yep. Half Step Down headquarters. That old building.
Check it. I'm not gonna say anything. I think that's I actually think that's on the corner of Narnia
and 123 Fake Street.
123 Fake Street. I hope everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving. Jose, have a wonderful Thanksgiving, my friend. I hope you get a lot of turkey in you.
Oh yeah.
And I'm really excited for the stuffing.
Oh, stuffing is my favorite.
Oh, dude, I'm so hungry. All right, everybody, have yourselves a good night. Jose, have a great night.
Take it easy.
Yeah, give it up for these guys. I promise you guys.
Just so we're all clear, that was not like a real song. Okay. I made that up.